Good morning and welcome to my daily Oracle card reading. I'm Anne-Harrod Hart, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a freelance web designer day to day, but I'm also an intuitive, a light worker, a clairaudient and a certified Reiki master. I work an awful lot with crystals and Oracle cards, and I can honestly say that they have changed my life. So today, as well as doing our Oracle card reading, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Oracle cards because I believe that anybody can use them. Anybody can be successful and use Oracle cards to enrich their lives. You don't have to be special, you don't have to have done a particular course, you don't have to have been attuned or enlightened to use them. And they're a really practical way of just bringing your intuition and a bit of divine spirit into your everyday life. So, the first thing I want to talk about is how to approach working with the cards. So, it's important, I think, that we try and do this when we're in a calm state. So if you're ever quite worked up or upset or particularly sad about a situation or nervous, anxious, it's good just to take a few moments to try and get a bit of calm and balance, just to try and approach the reading, approach the cards with as balanced energy as you possibly can. So a good way of doing that is to take a couple of deep breaths. So take a few deep breaths in through the nose, hold it briefly, and then out through the mouth. And I find that 3 to 5 really nice deep breaths and they're quiet just really helps to zone in and to calm. You can also use other things, so I like to use my Balancing Room Spray, which has got bergamot and patchouli in it. And again, I just give the ear a quick spray and just that scent, it just brings me back into the room, really gets my senses engaged and really helps just to calm things down. Other things I like to do if the energy is feeling particularly tense or tight or heavy is I like to use my sage smudging stick. So I just light this until it smokes and then just waft it around to myself. Sometimes waft it around the card deck as well, just to clear any energy. And occasionally as well, I use a candle. So this is one I use a lot, which is Clear Thinking, which is an aromatherapy candle. It's a pure essential oil and soy wax candle. So I do think you need to be a bit mindful about paraffin and other toxic substances that might be in many scented candles. So I always prefer to go for a pure soy candle with essential oils, and this one has rosemary. And I find this really lovely just to have on. And also I sometimes use essential oils as well. And this is my preferred brand. Others are available, but I do think this is superior in quality to many. And sometimes it's just a case of dotting a little bit on your hand, rubbing together, or sometimes you need to use a carrier oil, something like a coconut, fractionated coconut oil. So look up what you need to do with your particular oil, find one that you love, find one that really smells delicious to you, and then inhale. And immediately I can feel that that's grounding me, that's centering me, that's calming me down. So the other thing you can do is put the oil in a diffuser, so it's permeating the air, and again that just creates a lovely, clear, calm and inviting environment in which to work. So the second thing I want to talk about is the cards, deciding which cards to use. So I currently have four decks. I have another one on the way that I've just been drawn to for a long time and I needed to order it, so I've now ordered it. So I have 4 decks. I have Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. I have Denise Linn's Native Spirit Oracle cards. I have Yasmin Boland's Moonology Manifestation Oracle cards. And the first deck I ever got were Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle cards, and I use them an awful lot. So these are all decks that I have been particularly called to. The first one in particular, this Rebecca Campbell's is the one that got me into Oracle cards, and I was strolling through WH Smith's actually. Other stockists are available, but I was walking through WH Smith's and I was going through a really difficult time in my life, and I just remember looking and just glancing at this stand, and there were these cards, and I just saw this packet and it just drew me. I just walked over and I knew I had to buy it. I didn't know what Oracle cards were, but I knew I had to buy it, and ever since then I've never looked back. I can honestly say that working with these cards and Oracle cards generally have just really transformed my life for the better. Over time I've added to that, and it's generally when I see a deck, when I see something online, when I see them in a store, and I just feel that tug, that, oh, I need to get those. So as I say, I've got 4 decks and I use them daily depending on which ones I'm called to. So that's, I think, the biggest thing I can say is really just see which cards you're drawn to, and go with your gut on that. I also heard a story that freaked me out slightly when I first heard it, that it's bad luck to buy your own Oracle cards, or tarot cards particularly, and you should be gifted tarot cards. Personally, I'm not going to sit here and wait for somebody to gift me some Oracle cards. I was supposed to find these that day. I was supposed to work with these, and these were supposed to be part of my life. I honestly believe that strongly, and I think it was the universe's way of saying, this is what you need, this will help, here they are, and putting them in front of me. If I'd waited for somebody else to have gifted me those or given me those, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I honestly believe if somebody does happen to gift you them, then that can be a fantastic message from the universe that something is coming into your life that way. For me, I found mine in the WH Smiths in Cambridge, and I knew that I had to get them, and I haven't looked back. So I think there are lots of myths and superstitions around cards, and again, the biggest thing I can say is to just follow your intuition and do what feels right for you. Personally, Oracle cards I find very different to tarot. I don't tend to work with tarot. I only work with Oracle cards and angel cards. That's what feels right for me. But that is of course different for everybody. What I love about Oracle cards is that I see them just a message of hope and guidance and light. And I love the variety, the artwork and the different messages. So tarot, for those of you who aren't familiar, are quite structured. You have certain suits and you have the same card, same messages, although the artwork might be slightly different. There's greater freedom and flexibility with Oracle cards, I find, and I just resonate strongly with Oracle cards, so that's what I choose to work with. The other thing, and another superstition, is how to keep them. Some say that you should wrap them in cloth, you should have crystals on them, you should store them away. For me, the greatest respect I think that I can show my cards is to have them on display, to have them prominently where I can enjoy them and look at them and feel that they're part of my life and respected. They are something that I look at every day and I enjoy and I connect with. And so for me, having them covered up, having them somewhere tucked away, doesn't really resonate, and so I have these on display proudly, and then for each day the card I've picked I simply place at the front of the box so it's standing up so I can see that message through the day as well. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do is talk about questions. So when we're asking questions, this took me a while to get used to, and when I started I think I was asking very clear yes or no, or should I do this, should I do that? And over time I've come to realise that it's much more effective, interruption from Mr. Dog, it's much more effective I think to ask the question, what do I need to know about a situation? So what does the universe need me to know? And I've certainly found that that's given me more intuitive readings, more accurate readings, because you're not asking how is something going to turn out, should I do this, shouldn't I? You're just asking what do I need to know, what's in my highest interest to know about a particular situation. I think that's the postman. Bear with me. Okay, so I think the dog situation has now been calmed. So back to the cards. Yeah, so when we're asking questions, I tend to ask quite open questions and just what is in our highest good to know about a situation, and I found that really works for me, and it enables me to balance divine guidance and what the card is saying with my intuition. And again, I think I can't say this enough, intuition is so important, because when you look at a card, sometimes it takes a while to really think, well, actually, what is that message trying to tell me? And I think it's not just about looking outside of yourself for guidance, somebody telling you this is the answer, this is what you must do, but it's about understanding what is going on in this situation. How does that relate to me? And what does my intuition feel about that? What do I intuitively feel I need to do next? What is the next practical or next step? So, with that said, the last thing I do after every oracle card reading is I say thank you, because it is a partnership. I very much see oracle cards as a partnership between divine guidance, spirit, etc., and the universe, and your own intuition. So I always like to say thank you for that message, being grateful for that guidance, and looking to take it forward in my own life in the most respectful way possible. So I hadn't decided before today which card deck we were going to use, but I'm really strongly feeling called to use Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light Activation Oracle deck. So we're going to use that. So the other thing is to say that each of these cards, I use them slightly differently. So when you get your cards, you will get a oracle guidebook, and in there are details on what each of the card means, but also how to activate your card, how to bond with your card deck. So when you first receive them, how to attune to their energy and how to create that relationship where you can work together productively. So there are different instructions, I would say, or guidance for each of the different decks, and that is informed by the author. So the person who's created these cards has set out how most effective to use them, and so I tend to go with that. Sometimes I tend to, freewheel a little bit and just use my own intuition and own guidance, but I do tend to stick to the intentions of the person who created them. So let's get started. So today, as always, I'm going to ask for the universe, spirit, divine spirit to show us the message that's most useful for us to see today. What do we most need to see today? Just going to big shuffle. And in terms of shuffling, I'm not really an expert myself. I think just make sure you give them a good shuffle, however feels comfortable to you. Make sure that you've mixed them up nicely, particularly after the very first time that you open the box. Get them on the floor, spread them all out, give them a good mix round, bring them all back together, and then each time you use them, just give them a nice shuffle. Okay. So this is curious because the last time I used Kyle's deck for a daily oracle card reading, I got this card. And it's the same card again. And it is I think, 44 card oracle deck, so there are plenty of cards I could have picked. But we still have this message, so it must still be pertinent. Or at least it is at this time. So, today's oracle card. It's the Halls of Amenti Initiation. Secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiations. Okay. today's reading. The halls of Amenti are a sacred learning space that were energetically transported by Thoth from Atlantis to the spiritual plane before Atlantis came to an end. It is said that the portal to the etheric retreat is energetically connected to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Many believe that the physical remains of these halls can be found there. We don't have to physically visit Egypt to access their energies, though. The halls of Amenti are said to have been the home of the Emerald Tablet. They are a space of ancient mysteries in service to the expansion of humanity. Now that is interesting because the card that we had the other day was all about raising the vibration of humanity, contributing our role in that and why we incarnated at this time. So that's an interesting link. On this card you will see two pillars, an echo of the two pillars that have been found in sacred places throughout history. The black pillar represents the physical world and the white pillar represents the spiritual, indicating that this sacred space is between the worlds. If you feel called to these halls or they seem oddly familiar, there is a chance that you have visited them in dream time or even before this incarnation. So to connect, imagine you're at the Great Pyramid. Above its apex, a portal opens, drawing you in. See yourself at the centre of a sacred temple. Set clear intentions to align with your higher purpose and receive a transmission of ancient wisdom. And your message? You are in a deep initiatory chamber at this time. You might feel that things are heavy and challenging, but know that a reconfiguration is happening. Energetically, you are going through an initiation that will allow you to go beyond the fears of the ego and transcend the limitations of the physical realm. You might not feel that light is present because you are in the middle of the phase at the moment, but know that this is present within you. You might be feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, but a lot of this anxiety is actually old energies that were stored in the depths of your body being released so that your vibration can rise. Okay, so again, I'm not going to say too much about that. This is your card, and I would like you to be able to use your intuition to think, how does this relate to you? How is this advice able to support you? And what does it mean for you? So thank you very much for watching. I hope that was useful. I hope that helped. If you do have any specific questions, pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them and love to be able to answer them in future daily Oracle readings. So thank you very much. Take care, stay safe and stay well. Bye-bye.